What was he like, Jack Charlton? And what did he represent to you?
Well, he represents to me a very, very powerful man, a very strong-willed man, but had a heart of gold, basically. I mean, some very, very funny things used to happen to us when we played it. I remember going up to Leeds on the Friday night in the hotel, get a phone call, Jack, can I come over and see you tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock? I said, well, we're playing, Jack, tomorrow afternoon. What, do you want to see me at 11? He said, well, I've got a bit of something to talk about. So he came over to the hotel and he had a tailor with him. And he had a tailor's business, Jack. So he started measuring up the Tottenham players, for suits and things like that on a match day morning. I mean, it was hilarious. It was so funny. I mean, you got on the pitch on Saturday and he kicked bits out of people, you know. I went on a cruise with him once, you know, him and his wife, lovely, lovely lady. And, Jack, there was a few swear words come out now and again, but I said to Jack, you can't do that on the ship. You know, and when we get there, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he was an amazing player. He was a great, Leeds defender, but also...
yes.
But also, he was the manager of the Republic of Ireland team in that extraordinary game in the World Cup finals in 1990. So,
I was there.
Anyway, what was he better at, being a manager or a player?
No, I went doing talks, about World Cup football, and I was at the game that Jack was at, on the touchline as the manager. And in those days, you could get a bottle of water at a certain time, where dehydration would set in some players. And literally, something happened on the pitch, and Jack got the needle, and he kicked all these bottles over onto the pitch, which wasn't very healthy. And the referee sent him off. Literally, he got fined, I think it was about $5,000. And literally, the Irish public that were watching the game paid for that fee. And they gave that to
That's
him.
amazing.
I mean, it was absolutely fantastic.
And there he was, in 1966 on that winning team. And his brother Bobby was on the same team. That must be a first in footballing history, that you've got two brothers playing at a match like that.
I think it was, yeah. There's been various players, who've had brothers and played for the country, but not in a World Cup and in a final as well. Yeah, I mean, they were entirely different players. I mean, Bobby was all skill and everything else. Wonderful left foot, wonderful right foot, outstanding, in the world football programmes. And Jack, I mean, if you got too close to him, you ended up with a kick in the back of the leg or tackles that were not very nice tackles and things like that. But, he was the type of a person that off the field you would love because he was so funny every time you were with him.
And that's human quality, that ability to connect with people. That's clearly what made him a great manager as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. If he didn't like you, he would have nothing to do. He'd get rid of you, and that was the end of it. I mean, he's very powerful in the way he went about his business, and extremely successful. That's what it was about. I mean, today, I doubt very much if they would have put up with him, in today's modern world of being a manager, at football clubs today. But in the days when we played, or just after, when he became a manager, and especially of Ireland, he was very, very strict about everything that went on.
Mm. And finally, Alan, how will he be remembered in English and world football?
Well, I think anybody that knew him would know, the lovely part about Jack. Those that didn't know him personally would say, well, he kicked lumps out you every time you played against him. But he was more than that. He scored quite a lot of goals for Leeds from corners with, huge size he was, Jack, and Bobby, probably a foot smaller than Jack. But, I remember him in those days, the funny days and things like that. I've got the marks to show. He's a couple on the leg that he did while he was alive. But bless him, every time you were with him, you laughed, and that's a great business.
Scars fondly remembered. Alan Mullery, thank you.